Red mirror on the wall. Who's the most intelligent of them all? Well, it's not showtime. I'm just a bodybuilder, right? I did have an out-of-body experience once. I told you guys about this in a different video, so some of you watched it, some of you haven't. But I flatlined, had to bring you back, all that good stuff, right? So while I was having this out-of-body experience over here, I met God, and he gave me a wish. He said, "It ain't your time yet. You're gonna go back, but you get one wish. So whatever you want, just let me know. I can maybe make that happen for you." I was like, "All right, let's do a highway that goes all the way across the ocean to Australia. I want to be able to go wherever I want, whenever I want, not have to worry about taking a fucking plane. Just get in my car and just drive in there." And I think God thought I was fucking crazy, right? 'Cause he's like, he looked at me like I was nuts. It's like, you realize it's a selfish wish, right? Because that's going to take massive manpower. I'm going to have to use all of my angels, right? The architect of Angel Corporation, they gotta construct all the blueprints and everything on it before it gets cleared to go. Construction company, all the unions and everything over here run by Jimmy Hoffa. He's got to get all the construction crews together and everything to design this thing, right? And so all these angels are going to be fucking building for days on this thing. And then it's not impossible, because I can make all this thing together. It's damn near impossible. It's sort of my top research time and everything else in construction, and it's just pick another wish. So I thought about it, and I said, all right, I got one. For years I've been trying to figure out what makes women tick. I want to learn what makes them angry, what makes them sad, what makes them happy, what makes them do what they do and think what they think, right? And I like to help them set anchors and get them out of a negative into a positive state. NLP, how do we get them out of a negative, depressed state and not change their emotions so quick? I just want to understand women. That way, when I can learn this and I can apply that understanding to my wife, make her happy. And if that still doesn't work, then because now I can understand women, we get divorced and then use that knowledge and understanding to someone who does appreciate my new knowledge and understanding for women. And God didn't look this pissed off this time. He thought about it for a second. He said, "Showtime, you want 2 lanes or 4 lanes on that highway?" So, yeah, I ain't a comedian, ain't that funny. I did have an out-of-body experience, but that's all a joke. I never saw God or anything like that. I went up there for a little while, came back, and I got a whole video on what really happened when I had the out-of-body experience. But no, I never met God or got a wish granted or nothing like that. I was just starting off this video with a joke. So here is the subject today. We've been talking about animal stuff, right? When we were raw, we had to cover that. We covered equipoise, I believe. We covered Trenbolone and Winnie D, okay? Because that's all stuff for horses, cattle, and blah, blah, blah. I've covered all that in the other videos, and a lot of athletes say if it works for humans, it'll work for me, and it's not always the case. There's been some people who have had some serious health consequences by taking, designer drugs, veterinary drugs for animals, and not for humans. And there's others who have had minimal side effects, and some that claim none. Okay, so do your research, and then just because somebody has a certain outcome doesn't mean you're going to have that same negative outcome or positive outcome or whatever comes of your decision. But today we'll talk about one of the ones for humans that was actually historically, one of the most fascinating ones, in my opinion. So we're getting our asses kicked by the Russians, okay? And then when the Russian coach, when they're out drinking with the American coaches, right, he accidentally leaked out, or potentially whatever, but he was intoxicated, right? And he let him know, the reason we've been kicking your asses all these years, we have a secret, okay? We have a secret weapon. It's anabolic steroids. We use this on our athletes. And we win all these big Olympic competitions. It's why we're the best in the world. It's why the best what we do. That's the reason we keep kicking your ass every year. We're going to keep kicking your asses, right? So the coaches come back from the United States with this. So the government at that time was cool. They go, okay, the United States has always been best in the world. We can't let these communists beat us, right? So we're gonna develop one better than theirs. Okay? So he put Dr. Ziegler in charge of coming up with a new anabolic steroid, and he did it. It was called D-bol, D-bol, whatever you want to call it. And our athletes started taking it. We started winning competitions. We started hanging with the Russians and beat them at their own game, right? So that put us on an even platform. And then all of a sudden, of course, government, we can't do that anymore. Freaking ban it. So first they develop it and get athletes hooked on it and successful with it, and then they take it away. Just stupid, right? Side effects. Other than, let's go over the positives first, right? Everybody wants to know the positives. We'll go over the positives first. So the positives, of course, increased strength, increased body weight, fat gain can come from it, but it's going to be mostly muscle and water. Lots of water with this one, a lot of water retention for a lot of athletes, especially if they're not dieting, okay? So some athletes like that, and a lot of power lifters and strongman flat don't care if they have puffiness and water with them. More weight, the better. The more power and explosion, the better. Strength gain like a motherfucker, right? With anything that I ever tried back before I was getting prescriptions on it, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? The only time the 315 felt like a toy on bench press, where you just do 8 reps and do them really, really fast and fucking felt like 135, because I was taking D-bol. I feel strong on Androl 50, but not that strong, okay? So the best strength gains that I've had a D-bol in it. Of course, then after 2001, I went clean for, how long was it? Till at least 2008 or longer, and then I had a prescription for it starting at that time in 2008 or so. When I decided to go back on, it was a prescription. Now there was a time when I had a prescription, and starting from the late 90s to 2001, I also had a prescription then, but the prescription was in Mexico, not in the United States. So you can see the problem that can cause legally and stuff. So you gotta be careful. Check your local laws. Make sure you're not screwing that up. The other thing with the D-bol is it goes through the liver, right? Twice. So there's some other orals that are very, very hard on the liver too. I wouldn't say that D-bol is the worst one for the liver, but I'd say top 5 for sure, but I'm thinking actually top 2 or 3. There's a couple others that can kind of beat them out, especially if you take it for too long. I'll get into those in a different video, just so you have the facts on what to avoid or take, and if you do take them, the amount allotted time to get away with it. For some athletes, it's a very short window. You go longer than that window, you get all kinds of problems. And even some people with a short window, that they do it for the 7 to 10 days or 14 days, and they don't go beyond it, still get fucked up. So it's like there's no safe sex, there's safer sex, and kind of teaching you this safer route with things, but you can still get fucked up and die, off of maybe minimal stuff, if your body has a bad reaction. But That can happen with people with peanuts. It can happen with people with allergies they didn't know they had. You can go on with that. So calculated risks. Best way to avoid any complications, obviously, don't take steroids, right? But if you're going to go that route, this is like telling people not to have sex. You think everybody's going to not have sex because you told them not to, because it can be dangerous, because you can get a gal pregnant, because you can get a sexually transmitted disease, and one that might even kill you. You think that's going to stop people from having sex? Maybe for a little while if they're scared, but some people's not going to scare at all. Other people might be scared for a while, but they're like, fuck, I'm horny, I'm going to do it anyways, whether it be a man or a woman. They're just like, fucking I need the sex, right? So you teach them a safer way to do it. Obviously, monogamy in marriage is the best way to go, but, that's, what about people before they get married? They think they're going to wait, everybody's going to wait to lose their virginity until marriage? No, not everybody. It's highly unlikely. And how about when you go through separation, divorce, things like that, right? Do you think everybody's going to be celibate at that time? Not everybody, right? So the people that are going to go in and do, whether it be premarital sex or stay single and have sex, or sex after marriage, whatever it is, okay? There are safer ways to have sex. Abstinence, and celibacy, obviously, are no-brainers. That's the best way to not get any sexually transmitted disease. Zero, right? Very, very difficult unless it's like a weird-ass blood transfusion, and those are all tested. So through legit hospitals and stuff, you probably ain't going to be safe there. So, obviously celibacy and abstinence and everything else is going to be very, very difficult, if not damn near impossible, to get an STD with celibacy and abstinence. But even safer sex, there's no guarantee. You can still get a sexually transmitted disease that fucks you up or kills you. You can still end up getting pregnant. Condom breaks. They don't respond to the contraceptive, whatever, the shot, whatever it is, the pill. The gal decides you don't want to take it no more, right? So yes, things can still happen, right? But if you're taking the precautions, it's less likely to happen, right? So that's my point with this, is people are still going to take steroids, right? Whether they're legal or illegal, people are still going to do them, right? I'm saying some people, not all people. Some people strictly won't take them because they're illegal. Other people will take them, but only if they get a prescription for it first. Other people have their mindset so focused and dialed in that they're just like, I don't care. And I'm not talking about, such a fantastic, moral and ethical person. It's a non-athlete was like, I don't take them. You don't fucking need them. Fuck out of here, right? And so, but the athletes that are very dialed in, focused, they're still in a size and sport, strength athlete based world and environment, but they still decide not to take them, even if it causes them to compete at a disadvantage. I highly respect people who do that. And some people do it for their entire lives. My respect level for those people are way up here, especially if they're successful. And my respect level is still up here to an extent, unless they get judgmental, because and I'm talking about this group of people. I'm not talking about the successful people, whether they judge people or not. If they're way up here and they're all natural, they fucking have my respect big time, right? But the ones that never take nothing, and my respect level is still high for them, but if they become judgmental, it drops way to here, because if they're 135 pounds and I was 5 times better than them, or some of these other athletes before they even touched anything, I'm all natural, this guy did, it's like, shut the fuck up, dude, and you can't just expect to be magic pill either. I've seen people come up and be like, yeah, I'm on Winnie V, I'm on Test, I'm on GH, I'm on Tren, and fuck, they weigh $150, and they don't even look very good. Jeez Louise, how's that working out for you, dude? Because you're doing something wrong. You got shitty genetics, or you got fake bogus stuff, or you just you're not training right, or you're not eating right, or maybe it's a combo of all those things, but you'd be $150 and smooth and be on all that good stuff. And oh man, and there's a lot of people out there. People just automatically assume Mr. Olympia with all this gear and everything. No, that's because they've got phenomenal genetics and a great training program and a great work ethic. And the PEDs and the AAS will help take them to another level, sure. But I'm telling you what, they'd still be badasses and the best in the world if there was no such thing as steroids, right? Take all the steroids out of all the sports, you're still going to have the majority of the same winners, right? Except for those freaks that were able to hang with them that maybe never got first. That person might be second, third, fifth, eighth, and then bump up to first if you take all the drugs out of the sport. But even a lot of those guys, that people look at Lance Armstrong, how long he had people fooled, including myself. I was like, yeah, he's all natural. Leave him the fuck alone. What are you even questioning him for? Of course he's natural. Look at the way he looks. Look at the way he talks about how he's never taken them before. And, well, yeah, me convinced he was just a natural freak. And he's doing the same stuff everybody else was doing. So, but doesn't matter. He's still the best in the world. And is going to either be the best of all time, or he's going to be the best of all time for a long time, because there's nobody before or after him yet that's even come close to his records. So he's still got my respect way up here, but he did have me fooled. I did believe he was all natural. But again, it doesn't matter. If you're a Tour de France champion, it doesn't matter if you take stuff or not. And I'm going to get hate mail for this, because people are going to be like, oh, fuck you and cheaters and da-da-da. It's like, those guys in the top 10 or 20 were all on something. Okay, so take it away from Lance Armstrong and give it to another drug guy? That doesn't make any sense, right? Shoot, I did one power meet one time. Check the box. You had the ability to be natural, and they didn't even test you unless you were really obvious. If you checked the box saying you wanted to compete clean, all natural. And at that meet, there were 4 people who checked the box for a drug test. 4 people. It was a completely fair game, right? Because when you're a natural guy, you only get to compete against other natural athletes. Otherwise, you got to do the non-tested. Now, does that mean that there were only 4 natural athletes in the whole thing? No, but you know what? I don't think there would be very many more, because if you work your ass off that hard and you're like an amateur, you're not going to want to do the non-tested, right? And so the only guys that are going to be natural, they're going to do non-tested, or people, because you can still set natural records in the natural federation. It's the same federation. It's just drug-free, and so tested, non-tested. And there were 4 people who checked the box for tested. My dad was one of them, and there were 3 other athletes that were all natural, legit, all natural, like legit, like so natural that I knew them so well that you didn't even need to test them, right? And then there's everybody else, and then out of everybody else, there may have been 1, 2, or 3 athletes who were all natural and just want to compete at a higher level. Maybe. I don't even know about that. So, just to kind of let you know how many people take them. And I mean, we play the game, right? And you got everybody fooled. And so we say that at the IFBB pro level, right? We say, we test all of the athletes for drugs. Yeah, they sure do. They test for meth and cocaine and heroin, and they test for street drugs, but they don't test for anabolic steroids. But they don't tell the public that, because then the public is all, and we did take out the drugs one year, and all the athletes came in anywhere from 10 to 25 pounds lighter, looked just as good, just as crisp, but just smaller, and the sales plummeted. So, I don't listen to the public, because the public wants to see the home runs. The public wants to see the freaks. They want to see the 1,000+ pound bench presses. But then at the same time, no, they talk about steroids. It's like, shut the fuck up. Do you want this or not? And this is realistic, clean, and this is not for the majority of athletes. So, if your standards are way up here, then don't bitch about athletes taking performance-enhancing drugs or anything like that, because that's what you want to see, right? Now, if you're going to go and watch athletes, even if they're shitty, but they're all natural, and you're going to be 100% supportive to natural athletes, then do that. But that's not what's happening, right? They want to see the freaks. They want to see the home run hitters. They want to see the greatest athletes in the world at all costs. So you just tell people, I know it sounds shitty, but if you're an athlete who takes stuff around other athletes that know the game, and you can trust them, be honest with them, that's fine. But with the public, just tell them you're all natural, whether you are or not, because a lot of them are stupid, don't know anything, and they'll judge you for it, even in all your credibility, all your titles, and everything else. If you're one of the best in the state, of the nation, of the world, they're going to say, oh, these guys just take steroids, now they're drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette and haven't hit the gym in 10, 20 years. No, if you took steroids and drank beer and smoked cigarettes and sat at home, your gut would still be out here and you still wouldn't win any competitions. You gotta, the weights don't lift themselves. So, again, I got into negative-wise, hard on the liver, and then, of course, you got other side effects with the D-bol, which can be, side effects with the heart, diabetes. I don't really see that too much of a problem with too many athletes, unless you're taking insulin and or growth hormone unnecessarily. What else we got? But yeah, it can cause some issues with the heart rate. If your body has a bad reaction to it, you take too much, or just, some people just react that way to it, even off of moderate dosages. Can cause those types of things. Higher blood pressure in some people. Like I said, the puffiness, water retention, those types of things. Aggressive behavior, which could be good in the gym. And as long as you're not an asshole, you're just going to be, all right, I'm a little irritated today, but it's because of what I'm taking, right? So, yeah, I enjoyed it in the 90s and early 2000s. In fact, one time in Tijuana, I had my D-bol pills with me, and I took they had the 3 tacos for $1, right? It was 2 or 3 tacos for $1, and I would order 2 or 3 at a time. And with that 2 or 3 at a time, just for fun, because I was almost called, I did that coast blast thing you hear about all the time. Well, before there was YouTube and internet and all that other stuff, I was already playing with it myself. I came up with this shit on my own. And so I was on a blast, because I was only there for like 3 to 7 days, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna blast around here, I'm blast, right? And not taking nothing back across the border with me. So I would do 3 to 5 tabs. I think it was 5 tabs every 3 tacos. So I had 17 tacos in that little half-hour time frame I was sitting there, whatever it was. So every time the 3 would come, I was drinking Coca-Cola, and I would have that ice-cold Coca-Cola, a couple sips of that, with 5 D-bol tabs and 3 tacos. And then another 3 tacos, some D-bol and Coca-Cola. 3 tacos, D-bol, Coca-Cola. That was a 6-serving thing, because it was 17 tacos, so 3 at a time. That was 5 plates of 3 tacos, and the last plate was only 2. Well, I might have 18, but I don't think so. I think for whatever reason I was getting full, and I think I just ordered 2 the last time around, because that number 17 just sticks in my mind. So, yeah, I got back, and people were like, damn, look, you doubled your size in that 3 to 7 days that you were in Tijuana. But fuck, I shouldn't tell people this, because you can die or have severe consequences, like walking up a flight of stairs. I was tired, because I'm telling you everything else I took with the D-bol. Nah, fuck it, I'll leave that for another video, one of my crazier cycles. But with that and the other stuff I was taking, walking up a flight of stairs, tired when I had sex with my 3rd fiance, had issues in the shower room. When the water got too hot, have a hard time breathing, have to cool the water off, things like that. So thicker blood when it came out. It's just 3 to 7 days, okay? The blood shouldn't be thick, and it should spray out or ooze down, run down like water, right? Like nice, fine, light colored red right? That's a healthy look, right? That means your arteries probably aren't clogged. You never know without blood work or severe, or very good checkup at the hospital, right? But if it's just a nice liquidy red, like kind of like nice water running down your arm, right? But it's blood instead. That's a good blood flow, right? But when it comes out and there's a delay, and all of a sudden, oh cool, no blood on this one, and all of a sudden it oozes out, but it's like really, really thick, like fucking thick, like you fucking mix your blood in with clay, and then it ain't red either. It isn't a nice light color red or cherry red. It's fucking dark purple, or sometimes I had it black before. Fucking black, man. And it was thick as a motherfucker. That's not good. That's not healthy. I don't recommend that to anybody, right? That's just taking way too much stuff, but that's what I did on my blast, right? So fucking, I'm already 26 minutes into it, so since it's a 30-minute video, I'll go ahead and say what all I did. If I can dig that out, I'll post it in my motel room in the drawer there when I was partying with my ex-fiance there. Third fiance. I had a whole drawer full of vitamins, so there were a few preloaded Sustanon 250s. There was a couple bottles of D-bol. So that 30 tabs that I took in that set when I did the 17 fucking tacos, there was 30 in a thing. So that was one bottle in one day. And you go, oh, that's a lot. Well, that's 150 milligrams, because that's back in the day when you could only find 5 milligram D-bol tabs, okay? Well, now they're 20s and 25s and 50s, right? So some of these people that are taking, 2 to 4 a day, well, that's 100 to 200 millis a day of D-bol. So I don't feel like I was too out of pocket just doing the 150 milligrams that one day. It doesn't count. But it's the other thing. I took a bottle of Ecopes and one of those big 50, it was a 50 cc milligram, not a 10 cc Ecopes. So I took 50 millis of Ecopes, and it was the 7 date. Day one, not 3. It was in 7 days. 7 to 10 days. I think it was 7. So it was a bottle of Ecopes, 50 millis. It was 2 bottles of D-bol. One of them I did in one day. The other one I spread it out and only did 5 tabs a day. It's only 25 millis a day. I did some of those stens. Those little ampules. I had like 2 or 4 boxes of those. So 4 to 8 injections of those over the total over those 7 days. See, I don't think it took much more. I think it's a little bit of growth hormone. Like 16 units as well. It's like 16. I think only like 16 units. If I did the growth hormone, I did it a lot. I don't even think. No, I didn't, because I didn't know I had access to a fridge. So no GH that time. What else? I think that's it before I even monkeyed with GH at all. I can't remember what else I took. I think that's about it. So I guess I didn't take that much stuff in the blast. It's just the amount. I think I took some other kind of pills, but I can't remember. They were kind of related to the Sten family, but I can't remember. Oh, Adrial or something like that. They were called. Start with an A. Not Anadrol, not Anavor. Adrial. Adriol, I believe. And I think I might have done a couple cc's of Deca too. I got some preloaded Decas. Did a couple of those, like 2 to 5 of those as well. Over the 7 day thing. I think I only did 2 or 3 actually. So almost doesn't count since there's only a couple of INJs. And that's about it. I don't think I took really anything else in that blast. But people told me I looked like I doubled my size in the time that I was there and doing that when I did that blast program. So that's the download on the D-bol. I don't usually recommend people do it by itself, because you usually want to still keep your test levels So you want to usually run some tests. If you're going to be a D-bol, don't do just D-bol all by itself. Either if you run anything by itself, run test by itself. But check with your doctor. I'm not a doctor. This is just what I would do personally. Okay, if I did just one thing only, nothing else, I would do test. Sometimes you got to get what you can get, though. Maybe somebody's just got, maybe you can get a hold of his D-bol, but you can't get test. Well, in that case, me personally, I would do the D-bol, or I would go, or if I've been on cycle for a while, then I just go off of everything, do some PCT, and call it good. But I don't like to do that. I like to at least coast. I don't like to go off cycle anymore. I used to go off cycle all the time, but now I like to coast, do coast and blast. That's how I like to do it now. So, anyways, it's been showtime. Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right. Take care. God bless.